so much enjoy his analysis.
Arsenal's first 10 games for the Premier League season, for the new season, have been released. Now, the first 10 games are just absolutely hellfire. First off, you start off with an away game at Old Trafford. Now, Manchester United are arguably Arsenal's biggest threats, biggest rivals in the Premier League. And when you consider the fact that we, even in Manchester United's terrible state, whilst we don't necessarily lose at Old Trafford, it's never an easy game. To have that as your first game of the season, whew. Next game you go to Leeds, everybody knows you don't want to really play newly promoted teams in the first 2-3 games because that's when they're most energetic and they're most up for it. Third game away to Liverpool at Anfield, arguably the hardest game you can play all season. Then you go to Nottingham Forest and then you play Man City and then you go away to Newcastle. You can say West Ham United, but then away again to Fulham. It is an absolute bloodbath in the first few games. So much so that Squawka have a fixture difficulty rating, and this is Arsenal is rated as the second toughest schedule out of all the Premier League teams for the beginning. That is really, really going to be difficult. What does this mean? It means that you have to make sure that your transfer business is done early because you're going to need whoever your striker is, whoever your wingers are, whoever you're going to need them to have had a preseason, gelled with the team because you're going to need them to be firing on all cylinders. Because if we just take away the results from last season, we drew this game last season. I think we beat them. And we beat them, but we lost this game. If those exact same results follow, we're already out of the title race by those game 6. You cannot afford for that to happen. You need to hit the ground running. Now, I will also say, though, that whilst, that is a tough fixture list, the Premier League is the Premier League. And for me, in a season, there are only 9 easy games. And for me, an easy game is a game where if you don't win that game, it's like, what? That is a disaster. That is disgusting. And for me, the only games that fall into that bracket are the home and away games against the newly promoted teams. That's 6. I would say your home game against West Ham and against Wolves. Those are the only games that I will be like, if you don't win, that is embarrassing. Now, don't get me wrong, you should beat Brentford, but if you draw with Brentford, for example, I'm not going to be like, you should beat Crystal Palace, but if you draw with Crystal Palace, I'm not going to. But those ones, the games I just mentioned, for me, those are the only easy games in the Premier League, for me, anyway. So, you're going to have to play the tough teams at some point anyway. In the end, to note, Liverpool, their games in January, they're playing a second game in January, which means that Mo Salah will most likely not play against us because of AFCON. And Man City, when they go and play against Chelsea in January as well, no Aïnouri, no Marmoush, and everybody has a thing. You just got to go do what you got to do. Let me know what you guys think of the fixture list.